everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Elle Ramaila, and on this channel is all about learning, growth and contribution. Now, as you will see on the title of this video, this girl over here, no, listen, I'm coming back from what feels like an overflow weekend for me because I was successful in my last board exams in order to becoming a chartered accountant. And so I'm no longer studying to become a chartered accountant. I am in the process of, finishing my training so that I may qualify. Now, as I've touched on in my first video and my previous video, this road of becoming a chartered accountant is not an easy one. It's actually such a long journey. And I've explained that it's a 3-year degree. Then you do your postgraduate diploma for 1 year. And then you do your training contract with a firm for 3 years. And then within those 3 years, you've got 2 board exams. And then after you've written those, and after you've been signed off by a training firm, then it means that you're a chartered accountant. Now, this journey for me, right? I think I was in denial when I got my results because I never, in like a very long time, believed and accepted that I'm worthy of the designation because of how my CTA year went. And I know the 1 December 2021 writing was it was a movie. It was a beautiful mess. I say beautiful because the relief after you've passed is beautiful, but it was a mess because on that day and just riding up to that moment, it feels messy. If it's not work related, if it's not family related, if it's not friendship related or romantic relationship related, there's just a lot happening while you are in the process of getting this designation and writing this exam, right? And I know that my success of an APC candidate is not a story for other people, and there are people that are going to be given an opportunity to write. And I know what failure at first hand feels like, right? And I know those candidates in that position don't feel like they should be writing or why is this happening to me? And I think I can relate to that so well because of what happened to me in CTA year. Now, for me, I'd like to pride myself to say that I was withheld by my academics. Like, I feel like my identity was tied in my academics. And for me, I had never failed an academic year. Just a quick background. In high school, I was always in the top 10 from grade 8 until matric. In varsity, I was getting A's and B's, maybe one shady pass. Because of it was an IT course that I really, I was never going to pass that. I was never, not saying going to pass, I was never going to pay attention in that class, and I barely went to any classes. I think I went to one, So I knew I had to pass this thing because you can't continue in the semesters without passing this thing. So that's my little side course, right? But I think all this time, my identity was tied in academics. I was even tutoring in university. I was tutoring first year accounting when I was in second year, when I was also in third year, and when I also did my first attempt at CTA. And I think doing CTA, which is your postgraduate diploma, for me, I think the whole thing by March, I don't know why, but by March in my mind, I knew I wasn't going to make it. And let me tell you why. Because we wrote our first set of tests, right? And given that this girl has never failed, this girl was always thriving, succeeding, right? The fact that I got my first 40s and my first low 50s, that put me in so much shock. I had never in my mind, thought about what it would feel like to fail. I saw other people failing and I don't know, man. I just thought that would never be my story, And I think that's the thing that will humble you about not being successful in anything in your life is that if you never think that you are human enough to experience the things of being human, like not succeeding all the time, failing here and there, because I think for me, I thought failure was literally not being successful at something. Until I realized that failure is actually giving up, right? Giving up on whatever dream you have, whatever task that you had going on. And not being successful means that you are given an opportunity to try again, and to try again when you are ready to humble yourself to a learning process and to accept the fact that things didn't go according to your will, or things didn't go according to your plan. But that doesn't mean that you must sway away from whatever it is that you were intending to do, right? So yeah, I had to literally face myself and face that understanding that I'm not exempt to failure, and that it is okay to go through this, right? And I think a couple of weeks after that, I passed a test that I wasn't intending to pass. And that was my pregnancy test. You know, I was like, damn, from failure to failure, like in the most bizarre way. Because for me, pregnancy at the age of 22, I was like, no, girl, you are on a hill of just destruction in your life. You have zero plan. You failed postgraduate. Now you are pregnant. What is your plan in life? Like, what are your intentions? So I fell into like a really, I want to say, deep depression, anxiety / withdrawal from the world. Like, all I was doing for the next couple of months was eating, waking up, watching TV, going to sleep. Eating, waking up, watching TV, going to sleep. That was like my life for a good 8 months, until my daughter came to the picture. And a month after giving birth, something in my mind was like, you know what? I am more than just sitting at home taking care of a baby. You know, I need to be stimulated. My mind felt like, you know what? I was ready for a challenge. And the first thing that I did is I decided that I'm going to do postgraduate again, and I'm going to pass. I have never passed before. I had all the time in the world. I was not a mom. I had no depression. I had no, emotional background before, but I had all this weight and all this, weight that I was carrying from having this child and also having failed, that I had decided that no, I do not care the circumstance. I am going to pass. I'm going to look past the fact that I'm a new mom. I have this baby. I'm going to continue breastfeeding. I'm going to do all these things that I need to do and be as a mom, but I'm also going to enroll, and I'm going to study, and I'm going to pass. I didn't know how I was going to do it, but I decided in my mind that I'm going to pass. So that's one thing after coming back from failure, is that you need to realize that the event is not your identity, and you need to separate yourself from the result that you are a failure to this thing was not successful. And so when I went back and I was studying and I was going through my day-to-day, raising my daughter while still studying, I knew I was going to pass, and I knew I had to be consistent. And I knew that if I doubt myself, if I doubt the decision that I just made, that there might be a chance that I wasn't gonna make it, and I wasn't leaving room for an unsuccessful attempt. Like, I put all my ducks in a row, and I told myself, listen, I'm going to do this come hell or high water. And for the next coming months, when I was still studying, I only had like 6 hours in the day, because I would leave my daughter at around 9 a.m. I'd come back home at around 2 p.m. I'd go to a library or my cousin's house, and then I'd come back at 2 p.m., spend like 2 hours with Zoe, and then for an hour she'd nap, and I'd revise for that hour, and then she'd wake up again, and I had to put the books down, right? And so I was very efficient with the little time that I have. And that's another thing after coming back from failure, is that you need to now start being efficient and realizing what's working and what isn't working. I couldn't change the fact that I had this baby that was like wanting me all the time, the fact that I didn't have all the time in the world like I used to, the fact that people were not childbearing, but they had all the time. I had to release myself of those thoughts and tell myself, with the 6 hours that I had, I'm gonna make them work. So I had to forget about all these fears that I had. Like, I had to release myself of them and just commit to the fact that I was going to make it work with the time that I have. So you're not gonna be able to change the fact that you have to go to work. You're not gonna be able to change the fact that there's like people that are probably thinking, damn, like, how did you not pass? You know, you can't have those thoughts anymore, because all that should be in your mind is the fact that now you have to humble yourself to a learning process and be willing enough to learn past this hurt, past this idea that I might not be successful. And that journey is not easy. It requires a lot of support. I used to make sure that I asked my support school extra questions, like sending them emails, making sure that I spoke to my other friends that had been successful, you know, asking them, do they have any tips for me, any tricks for me? Because I knew now it was survival, you know, it was fight or flight, and I was ready to fight. I was going to fight with the little that I have, and I was going to show up and be consistent, irrespective of what I thought my life was looking like at that moment. And I believe these little steps of asking for support, making sure that you detach yourself from the failure and not making it an identity, making it this was not a successful event, but I'm still going to win. Also, the fact that you commit to passing in your mind before you even see it happen. Like, sometimes I think this is such a difficult lesson, even for myself and for people coming after me, is that if you don't validate yourself, no amount of validation that's going to come from outside of you is going to fulfill you, right? And you need to commit to yourself and validate yourself and see yourself as worthy before things in the world and things outside of you start happening. And that's what happened. You know, I was successful in my CTA year, and I was successful in my APC, praise Jesus, because that one, yeah, man, it was tough. You know, it was very tough with the work pressure, with the fact that for the first time, I really did feel like I was running on empty. I didn't have any energy in me. I missed my daughter almost every day. I was jumping from one deadline to the next deadline. I was trying to be for the people, by the people, with my family, with my friends, you know, trying to hold it down for them. But inside, I was struggling, you know, so I needed this to also work. And I remember taking moments through this journey to myself and literally saying, Leseho, you can do this. Leseho, you are capable. Leseho, you are worthy. Leseho, you are capable. You are an intellectual woman. You are a competent woman. You can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. And I used to literally read myself scripture, listen to scripture on my way to work, just so that I can remember that I can still do it, even if in the physical, it wasn't looking great. It really wasn't looking great. But I hope that this video is able to inspire you as a future candidate that is going to be writing APC, and for also those candidates that are going to be trying again soon. I hope that you can get a few points of encouragement. It's not easy, and I'm not going to sit here and pretend to say that stepping out after this pivotal moment in your life is something that is going to be a walk in the park. It's going to require you to be humble, to seek help, to validate yourself, to step out and try again, you know. And the minute you are consistent and you accept victory in your mind, I believe, and receive this on your behalf, that you will be successful and that you will be victorious. But I hope you guys did enjoy this video. Don't forget to like, to comment, to share, and to subscribe. But most importantly, to turn on that notification bell so that you can know when my next video will be. But otherwise, I'll see you guys in my next video.